Hey guys, Tanner here with STK Cattle and Hay. Um, Today I'm gonna work on a disc that used to be my grandpa's. It's been parked a little while. This is where it was. He had it unhooked here to use probably 30 years ago. You can see how deep it was buried. The discs are still okay on it. A little rough, but not terrible. But I got some tires that were bad. Here's where the two of the transport tires were sitting, and they didn't hold air. They popped as soon as I started running. So we'll go up to it here in a second. But only way to get it out was to disc my way out. So we just hooked it on the tractor and started dragging. The hydraulics won't lift because it blew a couple hoses. They're steel lines. Blew them as soon as I went to lift, so they were rusted out under the clamps. So anyways, we'll go on down to where it's at. Alright, we're here. You can see where I drug it up. Thing is about 41, 42 foot wide, something like that. And like I said, it's gonna need a little work. I started working on it last night. Here's where the hoses were that blew. They were under this, packed full of mud, and that's where it rotted out on both sides. Trying to take this hose off. This line cracked right there. Like I said, tires aren't so good. That one had air in it yesterday. Might need a new tube. That one's holding. There's one of the rusted out lines. About right there is where there's a pinhole in it somewhere. Same on this side, just packed with dirt and crud. And years of sitting rusted it out. So we'll have to replace that. I got the hoses already. Like I said, I'll go through and try and air up all these tires, see what holds and what doesn't. This one doesn't have air. I had air in it yesterday, so could be the tube just didn't hold, or who knows. This one's still got air in it. It's seen better days, but it's got air. That's all we can ask. And that one's pretty rough. But anyways, we'll get to pulling stuff off. Got new hoses up here. My grandpa put those on just so it would work. Anyways, these are all, need to redo the clamps or something here. Get these hoses secured down, or steel lines, whatever. But you can tell it's, after sitting sunk in the dirt for a while, it needs a little tweaking. It's not all the joints are moving yet, so it'll need to be taken out, used a little bit to get back into shape. And I know it's going to need new wheel bearings here. I think almost every bearing on this side has just rusted off. And I mean, they were spinning, but I kind of think they're just going to torch those bearings out and replace them. which isn't necessarily the funnest job in the world. But we'll get it up to the shop, and or we got a skid steer or something. We can pick these gangs up and fix them. It can be done. So, anyways, I'll get a video of what I get done today. Like I said, main goal is I'm gonna start bearing up all these tires that look like they can hold air. Yesterday I didn't have a tire pressure gauge, so we're going to get them all set to 10 or 20 pounds or something, and see if they hold by the time I'm done running hoses, and definitely take these two to town. And I think they can, I don't know what, retread them. Maybe I can go pick up the rubber and reuse it. I don't know. We'll see what they want to do. Anyways, we'll catch you guys here in a little bit. Alright guys, still on it. So let's go this side. So I need to bring some zip ties out. So these hoses, this is the pressure side. I think I can probably still utilize those clamps. I don't think it'll hurt anything. But I mean, you can see how that's going. There's another one here. I don't know how much I'll clamp. This is 1/2 inch line, that's 3/8, so I don't know how well that'll work. This, I haven't had to replace this yet. I need a good block of wood to knock on. But because those hoses look probably original. But that would mean I just have to replace this to that cylinder. I guess you can't see where I'm pointing if I don't look. But this is the return pressure hose. So when this disc lifts, it lifts starting here, follows that set of hoses up, and there's got to be there's a junction right there. So comes up, comes out, pressure follows this hose, then it'll pressure up that hydraulic cylinder, comes out the other end of the hydraulic cylinder here, and comes along over here until it lifts this hydraulic cylinder, then it returns. So it made sense to make a 1/2 inch return line and 3/8 supply, low pressure return type of stuff. Got more hoses up there, but we got pressure gauge. So well, let's start here. I think these tires are bad. I don't know if anyone else can tell, but I can tell by the way they are that they're bad. So we're gonna take those down. Those will get new ones. Those are a 9.5 15. So yep, both of them are. This one, we'll say it needs a tube. You can tell I don't think I need to waste the time with the pressure gauge. I aired these all up to 20 pounds, so this tire, it don't look so good, but it's still black and round. Maybe it'll make it to the shop. I don't know how much weight's on this thing whenever it's going down the road. In the field, it's pretty much not touching the ground. She's still 19 pounds, something like that. So I'm not sure that it's actually leaking. I don't know. The tractor only goes 18 mile an hour. How bad could it be? We'll definitely have to take that one off, take it to town with us. What size is that? I looked earlier. 9.5 14. So this wing wheel's a little smaller. What's this one? I think that's also a 9.5 14. Yeah, it's upside down, but there's you. 9.5 14. Haven't had any equipment with 14s. It's a new one for me. So come around, so you can see how all this was routed to begin with. That's why there's so much slack. When this thing folds and unfolds, it needs extra movement. Yeah, whatever factory made these had to have just made a bunch of the same line, and because it fits both ways, all the way out, both sides. So we're going to replace the exact same hoses on this side. I'm not sure that this one's broken, but if I'm replacing this line, let's just go ahead and do it. So make both sides match to begin with, and we'll bandage it from there, I guess. Let's see. Still got air. No cap. Note to self. A little over 20 pounds still. Perfect. This tire's got some cracking going on too. I don't know. It might last the little bit I need to do this year. Hate having to buy all the tires all at once. That one's down to 18. So we need to pump it back up and see. It's been spraying water out the bead. So as that water, the space that the water's taken up goes away, and the tube pushes out to the sides of the tire, because the tube's got to press to the sidewall of the tire and up to the inside of the rim. Once it's filled all the voids and pushed all the water out, or all the air out that was making voids, it can settle right there at 18 pounds, and it might be just fine. But I mean, the tire's fairly new. It's still, you can still see casting marks on it. So by fairly new, I mean it was new when it was parked. So yeah, the hydraulic stops. Same on the other side, plus a tree that was grown up in it when I yanked it out. Nice. There's the junction that goes left to right. I think this is all wet from that spraying, because whenever it sprayed it was a fountain. Yeah. So, now I'm not 100% sure how this looks when it tows. So, by my understanding, you pull this pin out and you drive ahead, and these wings will slide backwards. And this, so these are your closing discs. Whenever this is running, that V, I only got one hand, so it's got a V like that. It cuts open, and it's going to leave a groove right here. These discs right here toss dirt back into that center groove, because most discs are set up with a V disc behind, a V disc in front, and a V disc behind. This one is not that way. So this is more of a finishing disc. It's not made for working deep, which I've got sand hills, so I don't need to work deep. That's what this was originally purchased for, is to farm the exact same sand hills I need to farm. So we've got all the tools, hydraulic depth stops, a couple spare parts. You can see these big custom made wrenches. That's for taking off. Like, there'll be a wrench for that sucker. I mean, just, that's at least a 4-inch nut. The other big nuts that if you haven't ever worked on a disc, you have to take these off, and then all these discs can slide off. So it's got all the tools to do that. Can't think of anything else to talk about right now, but I'll get to messing with this a little more. I think I need to, once I get all the hydraulics working, I don't want to put these into the ground. So I do have some wood blocks to hold running gear up if I need to. I'm not sure I will need to, but it's there if I need it, I guess. So yeah, I'll yeah, whatever. We'll get the get that one tire off. To get that tire off, that's what I was thinking of. To get that tire off, I need to take those depth stops out so I can actually use the hydraulics of the disc to pick up the running gear. And I kind of wonder if it'll set on the tongue of the tractor and pick that up to make it a little easier. It's deflated, it'll be fine. It's going back on with a new tube in that I'm kind of worried about. Otherwise, I'll do something like put a high lift jack in here, lift up, something like that. Maybe put it here. I don't know, something like that. And it'll have to, if I can figure out a way to not use a high lift, I will. But it might come down to it. But this thing, there's got to be something living in there. It's a big heavy duty sucker. So anyways, we'll continue on, see where we get to. All right, it's been a couple days. We're going to continue working on this beautiful contraption. So really, I got a little complaint. It's not about the equipment, but I don't know how many of you guys deal with ag tires. These tires, let's just make sure I'm all right. So that is a 9.5 by 14. Means these are 14 by 8 inch rims. So this tire is technically 9.5 inches wide at the widest. This tire is a 9.5 14. Same measurements on the rim. I actually had to get a new rim. This one's patina matched, but the valve stem hole was rotted out, so it's got a tube in it and a little tube saver, I don't know, a little rubber washer that goes around there, and then a steel washer that we welded in so that it didn't get in the sharp stuff. But farmer fixes, you know. So all that said, look at, let me see if I can get these to stand up by themselves so I can stand back a little bit. Look at the height difference in these tires. I mean, they're pretty well straight up and down. Kind of square with the world. Yeah, there's, I don't know, what do you want to call that? 2-inch difference in the height of these tires. They're different brands. But my gosh, people, can't we have a standard size? I mean, standing back from here, yeah, they're leaning away from me just a little bit. That's a huge difference. Anyways, I got 2 of these shorter tires, so I'm going to put these on the center so it matches left to right. It actually had a 15-inch rim on one side, and so like I said, I found a 14. That 15-inch rim was also rotted through in a spot, so actually it's rotted through at the valve stem, so we were going to have to do a little repairing anyways, so happened to find a perfectly junky 14 and just make it to where they're all the same again. But we've got the Widowmaker jack on, high lift, so always make sure you're on level ground when you use it. I'm on an oil location, plenty of rock under me. If you've got to shore it up with some blocks underneath, make sure they're level. Make sure you're lifting perpendicular to what you need to lift. Make sure you're not leaning one way or another. This disc just happened to have this handy hole right there. But whenever you're going up and down, you might have to lubricate these 2 pins, but make sure they always come in, fully in and out when you're running them. Make sure that's tapped in, not like I'm doing. Yeah, if that slips off, it goes down real quick. So they could use straightened out a little bit. But I'm gonna get these on. We were missing, when we went to go start putting hoses on, I got most of those hoses on, all but one. We had to get a fitting to adapt from, because I just took all the hoses off. Well, actually I only took hoses off one side of the disc to get my lengths and sizes and all that good stuff. Didn't realize the other side was different. But almost every hydraulic hose has this fitting. Because I'm going to assume that those... See, that one does not have a fitting. I'm guessing that's an original hose. This is a hose I put on. But there's an adapter fitting that goes from... What is this? I think that's a 3/8 pipe to 1/2 inch. Something like that. So this one did not have that adapter on the top. Bottom had one. The one I used to get my measurements, of course, it had an adapter. This one on the end, it had an adapter. This is the side I took apart. That side doesn't have adapters. So, note to self, if I take that next one off, get an adapter or get the hoses made with the right end on it. I don't know if these all came with, someone just had a whole bunch of pre-made hoses, or I don't know what happened. I don't know how you, because yeah, you can see this hose is a little bigger. So this is a 1/2 inch hose necked down to a 3/8. And then it has a 1/2 inch pipe on that side. So that's 3/8 flare. That's 1/2 inch pipe. And then they adapted into 3/8 going into the cylinder. Why? I don't know. Make things more complicated. I don't know. But you run into that stuff whenever you're working on a 40-year-old piece of equipment. But got some penetrating oil. We'll spray those thread holes, which all the bolts came out relatively good. Threads look decent. So, I mean, there's some rust up where it was up against the ram, but I don't think, I mean, that one's probably the worst one out of that whole set. But I don't think that's going to hurt anything, because that's not where the threads were anyways. So, but we'll just lube them up that way they don't stick in and they don't gall going back in, and I don't know, I think we'll be good. So, getting closer to getting this thing going down the road. I'll check back in once I get some other stuff done. So, all right, I'll see you guys in a second. All right, we've got 3 wheels mounted, 1 tire with a slow leak. It's been, from the day I pulled the tires off to now, it's been like 5 days. Get that off there. That tire leaks down, and it's the one that still has knobbies on it. You can still see the casting marks on it. So probably just needs a new tube. I don't think it has a whole lot of use on it. There's a whole lot of sitting in the sand, buried. But anyways, everything else, the other 2 tires held air at least, so we'll right now we're just trying to do the bare minimum just to get it roadworthy to move about 8 or 10 miles. So we're not doing a full rebuild right here. Let's get it somewhere to work on. But anyways, got all the hoses hooked on. They're all draped up over some bolts and out of the way, so if it slams back down for some reason, it's not going to slice one of the new hoses. Jump up here. Hey, that's my seat, bud. Move. Just share just a little bit. All right. Yeah, belt squeal. Tractor's always got a belt squeal. Haven't replaced belts. It quits here pretty quick. Yep, there you go. All right, here we go. Cab lift. Dang, that thing lifts high. Fill all these hoses with oil. I don't know if you saw the 5-gallon bucket of hydraulic fluid underneath the tractor. I wonder if I ran out of fluid. Alright. I'm going to top off the fluid. That takes 6 hands to do, so probably not going to hold the phone while I do it. But hey, we're not spraying anything and it's not slamming back down, so following the wind so far. Catch you here in a second. Alright, 5 gallons in. Give her another pull. Lift next. Here we go. Tip ends here, tips, whatever you want to call it. I'll be dang. That hose needs to, a little low in the middle there. I don't know what that. Oh yeah, tire's low. Needs air in the tire. We got the big tire on that end, so. All right, let's get out and look this puppy over. I can honestly say I don't ever remember seeing this thing used, so here we are. I mean, that's just high on me. Look at those things. Yeah, those are real tight. Just need rain a little bit. Might be dry. Oh man. She looks good. She looks good. She's looks good for who she's for. Yeah. I'll admit, I didn't check the wind in that tire. I don't think it quite has 20 in it. So, yeah. I'm happy. This is my happy face. Well, now on to the next job. We'll come back to this in a week or two. Now, we hook back onto the harrow. We're gonna go do some harrowing. Alright. Well, yeah, don't know what else to say. So, thank you guys for watching. If you like this kind of deal, or pulling something junky out of the weeds and fixing it, then just keep watching. If not, you don't have to watch. I'm not making you do it. But like, comment, subscribe, whatever. If you think it's interesting. Oh, that hydraulic sucker's leaking down pretty quickly. Yeah, you'll have it on the big jumps. So, alright. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day.